Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I, CA Charmisha, on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, ICI, welcome you all the participants in today's webcast, Thought Leadership as a Chartered Accountant. Before starting our session, we have the privilege to have the presence of our very own charming chairman of the committee, CA Jayesh Chhera, sir. So I welcome you, sir, and I request you to give the insights to our participants. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Charmi. A very good afternoon to all of you, my dear friends, my colleagues. Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, though it might be a baby committee in terms of number of years, not in terms of content, not in terms of action, not in terms of the way the programs are happening in the projects that are being taken up. But yes, Direct Taxes Committee for years together, for decades together has been in the ICI International Tax Committee has been for years together. Maybe in the later years, recently, we started feeling that while chartered accountants are good with the domain expertise, along with that, professional skills are very, very crucial. So this committee has been formed, and I'm very, very happy to share with you that your professional skills enrichment committee is doing wonderful activities, have taken up number of projects. Kindly visit our site so that you keep on coming to know our various projects for the benefit of our members. Well, one of the series that you have started, of which today is one of the episode we can say from that, is our series, webinar series, focusing on the various professional skills. Friends, chartered accountants may be very good with auditing or finance or maybe law or whatever the case may be, but along with that it is very, very crucial that we are well equipped with the professional skills. you know there are two important things: one, doing work, and two, getting work, and both are important. Most of our seminars are focused on getting the work done or doing the work, right? But how to get the work, for that, your number of skills are there. You require interpersonal skills, right? How to interact with your clients, how to build up teams, right? How to, ensure that there is a wonderful atmosphere and environment around people who would like to get into relationship with you. Of course, professionalism, even all the things. So we are having a number of programs today. We have a very, very interesting topic, that is thought leadership. Well, friends, the first and foremost question, of course, as of now, Parinita and Charmi, the position is that I am actually on my highway. Only because of this particular program, I have stopped at a particular resort that is also under construction. As you can see the background. So let us put it that is, we chartered accountants also always under construction. We have to keep on developing as resource. Thought leadership, a wonderful topic crafted today by our learned speaker. Well, why did we join chartered accountants first of all? Was it for filing income tax return, or was it for getting OTP in GST? What was the purpose? Well, as students, we were keen to do something big, while others were afraid of entering into such type of things. We ventured out doing chartered accountancy. That means we wanted to do something creative. We wanted to do something innovative. We wanted to do something challenging. But over a period of time, what happens in our day-to-day operations, we lose the sight. We lose the big picture. And then we are more and more into operations, operations, operations. We'll have to understand, leaders focus more time on strategic things, not on operational things. But because of our structure, most of our chartered accountants are either practicing as proprietors or maybe one or two partners or something like that, which is perfectly fine as such. Nothing wrong about it. That is a personal choice. But what happens? You have income tax, you have GST, you have audit, and you have so many things. And then along with that, so many bombarding questions from the clients and so many deadlines, that we all are entangled into this deadlines and operations, and we lose the strategic picture. So time to time, such type of programs are required. We have to keep on listening to various speakers. So thought leadership. See, we did chartered accountancy because we had some leadership instinct. We all had. Without that, we would not joined it. There was a time from a particular, say I'm from Surat, from my city, hardly some few people, you couldn't count on fingers. They would be willing to join CA, forget who is coming out of it. Finally, even joining CA was a dream. for most of the people, right? So thought leadership. See, we chartered accountants are not only going to say work only in some operational areas, providing only some income tax services or something like that. We'll have to understand, we have to go to the core of the business. We'll have to look at from the side of the service taker. Parinita, what happens? I think of the world from my side. Say I'm making a picture, a movie. I start pouring in my emotions, but that does not work. What I have to understand is who are the users of my service, who are the viewers. I have to put my foot into their shoes. I have to understand what is their requirement. I'm going to serve as a chartered accountant to industries, corporates, business houses, and I will have to think about it. What is exactly they require? They are growing, they are emerging, their businesses are changing. Along with that, my services should change. The entire gamut of service that requires a change in the mindset. And there comes thought leadership. We should not restrict ourselves to only the peripheral things. You have to understand the core of business. I'm sure about it. I want a chartered accountant to advise the client on the marketing strategy also. I want a chartered accountants to advise on supply chain also. See, there are so many areas. We'll have to understand what is core to the heart of a businessman. Without understanding that, if I'm going to provide the peripheral services, naturally the fees is also going to be commensurate, right? So that is very, very crucial. Thought leadership, if we talk about that, well, it encompasses within itself a number of things. I would first put it this way, Charmi, I'll just put it this way. You should be such a chartered accountant. You should be such a chartered accountant. Tomorrow, there is a major program at Chandigarh, and they must say that for this program, you have to call this gentleman only. He is the best speaker in the nation. And there is another day, a program in Guwahati. Once again, the same topic, immediately your name comes up. That is thought leadership. That is thought leadership, right? And there are so many areas. We are 360-degree consultants and businesses are beyond limit, unbounded. So that means our opportunities are also unbounded. We have to be strategic advisors. Being number crunchers is fine to a certain extent. But over a period of time, such type of procedural aspects we have to keep on delegating by training our team, getting right type of people. And over a period of time, we have to be strategic partners. We can no more be asking for some small fees. We have to be partnering pie, right? We must be a part of that pie. If the entire pizza is there with 8 slices, 2 slices should come to us also. That should be the plan. And that is only possible when I give that value addition to the client. That is very, very crucial. At the same time, we have to champion the ethical side of business. It is very, very crucial. Any enterprise, if it has to grow for a long period of time, then such type of ethical governance has to be there, smooth governance. And that is where we have to champion our cause. Not only that, in today's world, it is very, very crucial that we chartered accountants should see to it how we can use technology, AI and all other technology, and how we can transform the business. See, if I'm going to the core and transforming the business of my client, if he's going to get a good value out of it, right? If it is going to add profitability to him, if it is going to add revenues in terms of that, if it is going to save his time so that he can pay more attention to strategic things, then I can charge handsomely from him because I have provided that value. So there comes the transformational, or we can say thought leadership. Along with that, we have to play mentorship role. But for that, we first ourselves have to equip ourselves, right? In order to pass on fragrance, I have to first become rose myself, right? That is the first thing. If I can do, then only it can happen, right? Then I can go to the other thing. So my point is that I want my chartered accountants to, along with income tax, GST audit, learn about the core business, understand strategy, maybe attend some program on strategy, read some book on strategy, understand leadership, read something even on marketing. Try to understand the core part of business and then focus on it, how you can take your client from X point to Y point. The more and more they travel in terms of growth, maybe in terms of quantitative, qualitative, whatever type of growth, the more and more you have created the value and the more and more you deserve to get rewards. So that is, I think, the theme. Thought leadership, if we particularly talk about it, is about specialization also. right? With rather than being only generic. Of course, see, you might be staying in different places. A person in Dhule does not have to follow what the person in Mumbai is doing, right? A person in Mumbai is not supposed to do the same thing what a person in Coimbatore is doing. Different cities, different type of markets, different type of environment, you have to different. But over a period of time, today, it is very, very essential that over a period of time, brand yourself for something. Brand yourself for something. I do remember, Patanita, I do remember some few years back, the president ICI called me and he told me that I have heard number of topics you have spoken on, but I would suggest that this particular topic suits you more and you should not keep on changing topics. Rather, you keep on interacting on this particular topic and that will create a brand. And that was an interesting topic, innovate or evaporate. That was the topic. I listened to him, and actually, it so happened that over a period of time, people started recognizing me by way of innovate or evaporate, right? So it's very, very essential that we might take care of many, many aspects, but ultimately, you have to super specialize in something, and you have to create a brand in that. You may use social media, you may use programs, you may use your own strategy to come out like that, but that is the time where we project ourselves like that and grow and provide wonderful services. Well, I think we can go non-stop, but we have a very good speaker. So I should pass on the baton to her. Thank you very much, Charmi, for accepting our invitation. On the behalf of committee, let me thank you for being the moderator of this session. Thanks a lot, Parinita, for coming as a speaker. I'm sure the members who will listen this to this program, at the end of the program, they will find themselves little better than what they were, right? They will learn something out of it. They'll see to it that how they can improve themselves in that particular area. And thanks a lot to Dr. Sambit Kumar Mishra ji, who is the backbone of this committee and does wonderful work on behalf of the committee. So thank you very much. And back to you, Charmi.
Thank you, sir. So after hearing your insights, I'm quite sure you are the best person to chair this committee, PSCC, and do wonders for this committee. Thank you so much, sir, for your insights and valuable time. Apart from your busy schedule, also you have a little time for to have the presence and give participants your insight. Thank you so much, sir. Before we go on to the session of CA Parinita Adukya, I would like to formally introduce her. And she is an ambitious individual who spent 6 years in finance before branching out to seek new opportunities. In 2015, she founded Portraiture by Parinita to explore an area where she could make a difference. She's a strategy head and a chief consultant in the branding project. She's founder of LinkedIn Top Personal Branding Voice with 18,000 target connection. With these brief introduction, I welcome you, Parinita, and now floor is all open for your deliberation. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Charmi, for such a lovely introduction. We know each other since a long time, so it's good to reconnect and see each other's growth. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jay sir, for always giving such a powerful start to the session. Your ideas and your opinion on this topic is so elaborate, and of course, the example that you gave really set the whole base of the session, where you focused on one aspect about yourself and how did you take that forward to really build a brand around one characteristic or one topic of your your career. So thank you so much for always being so innovative with all your opinions and your ideas around any topic that we come up. And thank you so much to the Professional Enrichment Committee. Of course, it, like Sir said, it's baby in the number of years, but the impact that it's creating, it's really immense. Thank you, Sambit sir. So with that, I'll just share the screen. Okay. So as discussed, today's topic is thought leadership. What exactly is thought leadership? Jay sir, of course, has given a very good example, very good um, set a base, introducing the topic and explaining what it really means in a very generic way, which is the best way to explain the topic. What we will be doing in the whole session is understanding as a CA why this aspect, that is thought leadership, why are we talking about it? Why is it important? How do a CA really embrace this aspect of thought leadership? How does he leverage on different areas and how they can portray thought leadership in varied ways because we all are very different. So, like one of the examples that Sir said is to become a speaker. That's one of the ways to really show your thought leadership. We will be discussing a lot many ideas and ways in which you can portray your thought leadership. We will also discuss how will you can use social media as a medium to show your thought leadership, tools that can help you in building a thought leadership for yourself, and of course, a lot of to and fro on this idea and being a CA. So before we start, I just want to set one very important thing in place is today, thought leadership that we will be talking about is not only for practicing CAs. Thought leadership as a concept is totally equally applicable to both practicing CAs or even CAs in industry. So this whole webinar is designed and will be focusing on both the audiences. You can be a practicing CA or you can be somebody working in an industry or having their own business. Anything is fine, but thought leadership is a very powerful and a very impactful concept for anybody who is working. Okay, so I will be covering for both of them, sometimes with different examples, sometimes a common example or some common thoughts and opinions. Okay, so I hope everybody who's attending this session, whether you are a practicing CA or industry-based CA, this will definitely give you a very different perspective about how can you really move forward in your career. Okay, sure. So, um, so the basic idea and why thought leadership is important, why we are talking about today is I'm just throwing some questions to the audience. Just think about it. Of course, it's a webcast, so I'm not even expecting any answers. But just think about these questions, and towards the end, I will just come up with the idea and I discuss why am I asking these questions. What is your sales strategy? This is specifically for practicing CAs. What is your sales strategy? Are you really digitally active? How many of you, and this goes for both practicing and non-practicing, are you really digitally active? What is your marketing funnel? How do you get your customers? How do you get your clients? From where do you generate your leads? What are your goals in life? Again, this is for both practicing and non-practicing CAs. What are your goals? And here we'll specifically speak about professional goals. Have you set some goals 2 years down the line, 3 years down the line, 5 years down the line? You want to reach somewhere. How will you reach? What is the end point? How will you reach that? What are the action steps, resources needed? Have you set those goals for yourself? Are you networking really well? Again, for both practicing and non-practicing. So people might think networking here, so it's only for practicing CAs who need network. No. Non-practicing industry or entrepreneurs, CAs who are entrepreneurs or in industry, they need networking also. Very, very important. So are you really networking? Do you consider yourself as an entrepreneur? So here minded entrepreneur is not, it's not a designation. Here I'm not specifically speaking about you starting a business or you having a practice. Entrepreneurship as a mindset. What does that mean? Are you really enthusiastic? Are you really you have that um, thing of initiation and taking initiation to do something, to innovate something, to bring something new, to learn something, to grow. That's an entrepreneurial mindset. So, do you really have that entrepreneurship mindset even for people who are into jobs or in industry? Do you have that mindset? Or you just working whatever the company has said, whatever the KRA is being set for you, you're just completing that work and there's no growth that you're looking into. So, today we have 4,25,000 CAs and approximately 1,50,000 CAs are practicing. I want to ask you, where do you stand out? How do you stand out from the whole 1,50,000, or if you're into a job, the remaining, of course, not everybody is into job, the remaining, but say 2 lakh, 2.5 lakhs who are into job. How do you differentiate yourself? How do you stand out from that whole crowd? Have you thought about it? So let's understand some concepts and let's understand why thought leadership is important for a CA. Okay. See, of course, when you are studying CA, when you become a CA, and when you start either a practice or you need a job, right? There are specific skills that you learn. And then moving forward, you will be providing those skills. So there is a lot of common technical skills that we all have, some common soft skills that all the CAs will have. So of course, there is common factors between the chartered accountants. But what we really need to analyze and where the growth factor will come is, how do you stand out and what can you really give to your customers? And this is where even Jay sir said, it's not about you, it's about the customers or your audience. So let's understand this Venn diagram. So we have three aspects: what you are good at, what your competitor is good at, and what does your customer really need. Now, if you see the middle where all the three intersection is there, if you see, it's like what you are good at, what your even competitor is good at, and your customer is needing. Say, for example, let's take a very basic example of tax audit, okay, or filing income tax returns. You, of course, being a CA, you will be good at it. It's a very basic skill that you're taught. Your competitor, your fellow chartered accountants, they also know that, and all the customers need, right? So everybody is doing that. So of course, you will earn, but you won't grow. Understood? Then we have a area where you are good at something, your competitor is also good at something, but if you see, the customer doesn't need it. So you'll never grow there because the customer won't care about what you are providing, because that person doesn't need it, that the person will not pay for it. So we have to leave that up. Now there comes a section where your competitor is very good at something, your customer also requires that, but you are not good at something. So that's a very risky area. You might find it very lucrative. Okay, this person is earning, this CA is earning in this area. The CA is practicing, or the CA has some kind of a job, and that person is earning very well. But mind you, if you are not good at, how much ever you try, you will not be able to earn, because there are others who are very good at it and they'll provide a better service or quality of job than you, and your earnings will become very less. So where do you grow and how do you find your area of, the where you can leverage your growth is things that you are very good at, things that your customer need, and then you have to find things that your competitors are not good at or they might not be doing. So that is the point where you will grow the most. And you, as a CA, whether you are in a job or whether you are a practicing CA, this is the area that you will grow the most, and you have to find this area for yourself. Okay. Now, how do you find this area, and what really comes in this area is now that we will be discussing. So I hope you got this concept. You need to find what you are good at. At the same time, your customer must need that, and your competitor is not well equipped providing that particular service. Okay. Now let's look at how do you find that area for yourself. Like I said, the sections are, once you understand why it's important for a CA that we spoke about, what really encompasses in this area, what thought leadership is, how do you find the thought leadership. Then we will see how do you portray that thought leadership through different avenues. And then how do you develop that using different tools. So these are the sections. So let's look at what really comes under thought leadership and how do you find that thought leadership for your own self. Okay, perfect. Now this will be a very elaborate discussion. What you need to do is keep noting down points that you relate to. Okay. At the end, we will select one for our own self. Perfect. Now, you have to find there are different ways in which you can become a thought leader. Okay. So, for example, Jay sir gave an example of he started speaking on a particular topic, innovate or evaporate. Okay. So that became his thought leadership point. That's one of the examples. In the same way, we'll see how can you build that thought leadership for yourself? What are the differentiating points for you on which you can build a thought leadership for yourself? So here we are finding that differentiating point that sets you apart from your fellow CAs. Okay. Starting with first, value addition to clients. That is the solution. And this is where I'll pick up on where Jay sir left. Okay. Now, as sir rightly said, as a CA community, we are so used to being perceived in a particular way, which means, and not even outsiders, even CA community looks at themselves as service providers or professionals who does audit or tax or accounting. But as a CA, the moment you start giving value addition to your clients, again, here I'm talking about both practicing CAs and non-practicing CAs. So your clients for non-practicing CAs, people who are in jobs or industry, your clients becomes your company. Okay. The moment you start giving some value addition to your clients in terms of the solutions that you're providing, you start getting differentiated from other CAs. Say, for example, just like Jessar said, okay, you are providing auditing service to your clients. With that, you have, equipped yourself to consult your client who is into logistics. You start consulting him into supply chain management. That's a value addition that you're giving to your client. And that helps you differentiate from all the other CAs he might know, because none of the other CA will go into that extra value addition and providing some different solutions or different topic to your client. In the same way, when I talk about a person or a CA who's into a job or an industry, your value addition is when you start giving extra than what you really, say, for example, you are in statutory audit, okay, you are working somewhere. With that, you start, adding some value in the kind of the feedbacks that you're giving, or the opinions that you're giving, or the way that you are really working. Okay, you upskilled yourself, you did a research, and you came up with new reports that can help the clients other than the statutory audit report that you are giving. Any other consulting that you can give is where you are providing some solutions and some value addition to the client. That is where you will stand out from rest of your team members or rest of the competitor CAs who might be doing the same work. So as soon as you bring a value addition, a extra solution to the already service that you might be providing to your client, this becomes your differentiating point. Works? Perfect. Second is knowledge, and this is very common, and this will be the most used aspect by a C. That is, when you have knowledge on a specific sector, say for example, just like Jay sir said, say somebody needs to have a session on direct tax. Okay. Of course, we all know there are some CAs who really stand out in their delivery when it comes to direct tax as a topic. Say somebody wants to have a session on AI or indirect tax. When you start gathering knowledge and you are known for a specific sector knowledge, okay, it becomes your thought leadership, and that will help you stand out from again other CAs, because like Jay sir said, it's a gameplay of being a generalist versus a specialist. Okay. Now, here I'll just give you one example and why being a specialist is so important. Say you are unwell. Okay. The first step that you do is, of course, you visit a physician who might take anywhere between 300, 600, 700, whatever the fees is for the visiting, and the medicines or some extra medicine. That's the charge, right? But say when you visited a physician, you got to know, okay, you have a heart issue. You decide to go to a heart specialist. What's the fee? What's the general fee? Only the visiting fee that the heart specialist takes. Say in cities like Mumbai, what I am aware of, anywhere between 2,000, 3,000 to even 5,000 is the visiting fees that the heart specialist might charge. And then if there is any issue, God forbid, there was some issue and you went to a heart surgeon, and that surgeon will then charge you 10,000 to whatever amount. What do you see here? All of these are doctors. But if you see, first you went to a physician who was a generalist. Then you went to a heart specialist who will consult you. He has a specific knowledge. And then a heart surgeon. He has another specific knowledge of surgery. So if you see, specialists as always have that edge, that trust, that people trust them more because they work in a very, very focused area. They have a knowledge of very focused area, so people tend to trust them more. So in the same way, if you practice in a specific area, your focus will be on that particular topic. The way you research, the way people look at you, it becomes very focused, and hence the credibility and the trust that you build out of this, a focused topic is at another level, and that is where you can charge a premium. When you're a generalist, you cannot charge a premium. A specialist is somebody who can charge a premium to really know things in detail that a generalist might not. I'm not demeaning any generalist, but still, If you want to earn a premium, if you have that idea, is when you need to work on a specialized area. Okay. So when you start developing knowledge based on a specific sector, a specific area, say for example, we'll take a lot of examples going forward, but say even in statutory audit, if you start speaking about statutory audit only for say manufacturing industry or say only a construction industry, that becomes all the more specialization. So that is where you start developing knowledge. Okay, so second point is knowledge set. Third is target audience, and this is a very different kind of thought leadership or differentiation that you can develop yourself. Say, for example, taking forward from the second example that I just spoke about. Say, for example, you work on statutory audit, but you work only for construction-based companies. Now, here you can look at it in two ways. Okay. Either you provide a super specialization, like you provide statutory audit to only construction companies, or you provide consulting, say management or overall consulting, overall service, but to only construction based companies. You will provide tax, you will provide audit, you will provide consulting, say supply chain management, all these kind of services, but to only construction based companies. So your target audience becomes your point of differentiation. Okay. The next is technology. Say, for example, you are providing statutory audit services, but your point of differentiation is the kind of technology you are using to give those services. You have upgraded yourself, you have learned new technology, you have incorporated AI in the way you are sampling, in the way your reports are generated, in the way you are collecting the data. So what happens is other CAs might not be doing all of this. So this becomes your point of differentiation. And technology, when you use technology in such a way that not your competitors might be doing. Say for so this is coming back to your what you are good at might not only be technical based things, it might also be around something different that you're doing. Say you and your fellow CA both are providing statutory audit services, but you are using technology better. You are more advanced in adapting technology, in the way you are conducting the audit, the way you are representing the reports, all of these areas. So you become better from your competitor in the way you are managing or executing the work, although the service might be same. Okay. So this becomes your point of differentiation. And the last is team. Say, for example, you have developed such a team that you have a very specialized team. You have a very, very enabled team that it's very trusted. You have like a team who has separate specialization. Somebody is very good at technology. Excuse me. Somebody is a client facing person. Somebody is very good with reports. So your team is in a specialized way. You have developed a team. It's a very structured way of managing or processing, working, executing the work, which again, personally, I've not seen many CA firms being so structured. So probably the way you have been managing your team, or the way you have been building your team, is something that helps you differentiate yourself from other CAs, because your quality of work becomes better. So what I need you to do right now is, from all these aspects, you need to select one point of differentiation that will help you build a thought leadership for yourself. I'm giving you 2 minutes for that. Think about it. So there is a possibility you already might have thought about it, in the sense of you might subconsciously be doing something which is a point of differentiation for you. But if you have not, you can think about these points and select one that you will start working on from now. Okay. Again, this is for both practicing and non-practicing CAs. Even if you're in a job, what is the point of differentiation that you will develop for yourself, whether it is the way you are giving extra to your work, or you are developing a very specific knowledge-based skills, um, you are adapting to technology, and you are really learning new ways of enhancing your productivity, the way you're working with your team. How are you can select any one of the points of differentiation. Okay. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Chalo, I hope you've selected. Let's move forward. So I hope you have your niche in place. Now, just giving an example of um, a niche, a super niche. Okay, say for example, you are into audit, but you are only doing system audit and internal controls. You're very specific um, with the kind of audit that you are providing. And further to that, say you are providing internal audit and internal controls and system audits only to pharmaceutical companies, say only to a specific region that is super specialty. Okay, I know such people who are very, very super specialized. Say, for example, I know few CAs who provide um, IFRS and accounting only to pharmaceutical companies. I know CAs who provide taxation only to naval officers. So there is a lot of super specialization that comes into picture, and that is how you start building your thought leadership. So one of the aspects that's very important, and okay, we'll come back to this later. Okay, I have this at the end also. I'll take it up there. So your UDP is your niche that you develop in the point of the service that you're providing and the point of differentiation. Say, here what we have done is we've combined the niche and point of differentiation. Say, like we just discussed, you might be providing system audit and internal controls for pharmaceuticals companies. But your point of differentiation here is you have started adapting technology in that, and that makes you this becomes your point of differentiation and sets you apart from all the other CAs. Okay, just go through this. So you start using tools like Power BI, ACL, and risk heat maps to deliver visual, actionable internal control insights designed for the pharma industry's fast-moving regulatory landscape. So what you've done is adopted tools like Power BI. You are generating better reports. You are helping the clients use that report in an effective manner that they can really apply and improve their whole productivity. Okay. This helps you set apart from all the other CAs who might be providing internal controls to pharmaceutical companies. So this I wanted to cover here. Of course, Jay sir has given a very good base and told us what thought leadership is. But I would here again would now talk, because we have talked about the point of differentiation. I'll come to what now thought leadership is. Now, in very simple language, thought leadership is when you develop yourself in a particular area in such a manner and you brand yourself. Okay, developing is one thing and branding is another. So when you develop yourself in a specific field in so detail, plus you brand yourself then in that particular field in such a way that people look at you as a leader in that area. They wait for your opinions. They value your opinions and thoughts in that specific area. And they look forward to what you have to say when it comes to that specific uh, thought process or technology or, the point of discussion. Say, for example, you have developed yourself so brilliantly in, say, direct tax litigation. That's your niche. You have developed yourself, you've worked in this area for years. At the same time, you have branded yourself in such a manner that people know that you practice in direct tax litigation in detail. Now, combining both, people believe in your opinions as to they look forward to what does CAABC has to say on this particular case of litigation. What will he do if this is the scenario? What is his take on this particular amendment? So people look forward for that person's opinion, what does the person wants to say, what is his thought process in a particular area. That is thought leadership. Say, for example, direct tax, we have Girish Ahuja sir. We all look forward to his sessions. I have seen people really line up for his sessions. So he's one, this I'll say a thought leader in direct taxes. The same way we have so many other people. Say we had when we talk about law, we had Dastoor sir. When we talk about valuations, we had Ashwath Damodaran. We have so many examples where people really look forward that what does this person has to say when it comes to this topic. And like just Jay sir said, then what happens is people, when that topic comes, when say for example anybody says, say direct tax, immediately you'll have 3-4 names. Okay, say Bansi Mehta sir. So you'll get these particular names in your mind because they are known as thought leaders in this particular area. That's thought leadership. Thought leadership is a combination of developing your expertise in a particular area. This expertise, like we have discussed, can be an area of practice plus a point of differentiation. It need not only be a area of practice. Say, for example, statutory audit might be your niche, but that will not help you build a thought leadership unless and until you also have a point of differentiation, because there'll be multiple people working in statutory audit. You have to find a point of differentiation also. So when you develop yourself in one area, you find the point of differentiation. You work on that in depth. With that, you brand yourself, you market yourself in that area. When both of them is combined, it becomes thought leadership in a particular area. I hope I'm clear, because there are a bit of misconceptions around thought leadership where people feel only, okay, if I only practice in direct taxes, it becomes my thought leadership and it will just happen automatically. No, things don't happen automatically. There are multiple CAs working in direct taxes. There has to be some point of differentiation that sets you apart from other people. Plus, you have to brand and market yourself in that area. Only then will a thought leadership be developed. So what we will do now is how do you develop this thought leadership in the sense of how do you market this um, leadership, thought leadership in different ways? Because execution, that is developing your technical skills plus branding together will make you a thought. So we have seen technical, how will you develop that? How do you choose that for yourself? The point of differentiation plus the technical point of service. Okay. And now the marketing. So there are different ways in which you can market and you can showcase your thought leadership. Okay. So first, what we'll do is we'll talk about all the offline methods in which you can develop your thought leadership. Let's start with, again, I'll keep giving example of Jayaswal because he's literally given a very good summary of the whole thing. Speaking engagements. Now, this is one of the most powerful, one of the most effective way of creating a thought leadership is when you start speaking on a particular topic, people start knowing you as a speaker on a particular topic. Say, for example, Jay sir gave his own example that instead of choosing so many different topics, he chose one single topic, that's innovate or evaporate. So that becomes his thought leadership point, that people need to innovate. That's his thought leadership. For me, it's branding and talking about thought leadership. How can CAs develop that branding aspect of it? That's my thought leadership area. So when you choose to speak on a particular topic at different avenues, you start developing a thought leadership for yourself. Now I want to touch upon where can you speak. So one, of course, a very good way or a very good avenue is our very own CA Institute, where you can take the chance of speaking at different ICI events. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay, so first let's talk about ICI and then we'll go to non-ICI. So ICI, of course, gives a very good platform to our fellow CAs. This speaking can be through seminars, the physical seminars where you go to different ICI events. You can speak with the committees. You can take that opportunity, give your profiles and really see how can you really add value. Now, one thing that you need to understand here is just you cannot, like I said, there will be multiple CAs who is practicing in direct tax. You need to find what is the point of differentiation, what extra can you give to your audience, because topics like direct taxes, they must have heard like multiple times from different speakers. How can you be different is you need to search that for yourself. So you can either super specialize, say you only talk about litigation, you only talk about certain cases of litigation, or you only talk about, say, for example, you only talk about input tax credit issues in GST. Say input tax credit issues, I think manufacturing has a lot of issues, so you can talk about that. So if you catch hold of some specific areas and you speak about, say, for example, today, use of AI has become a lot. Say you catch hold of use of AI in conducting your GST audits. So that becomes your need. So here, one very important aspect you need to look at is you need to find your point of differentiation to be able to speak or become a thought. So you can take, you can speak at physical seminars of ICI. There are multiple webinars that's being held. You can speak on those webinars, like these kind of webcasts, or there are certification courses. There are a lot of webinars conducted even by the regional or branches of ICI. Then, of course, a very easy way to start speaking is the study circles. A smaller group, very concentrated group, and a group you might be well, acquainted with because you might be attending the study circles with them. So they are, you know them. So it might be easier for you to start speaking at these study circles. Okay. So ICI is one platform where you can speak. The other, which is very important, and mind you, why I'm telling you very important is because speaking at ICI, of course, will get you that brand name of thought leadership, will help you build a brand for yourself. Speaking at non-ICI events will really get you direct clients. So what you can do is you can look at industry-based associations. Say, for example, there is Chamber of Commerce. There's specific. Say, for example, if you have clients who are into steel industry, search for steel associations or steel authorities. These kind of associations or clubs where you have specific target audience. Go and speak there. Get the chance to speak there. That is one of the very, very powerful ways of creating a thought leadership because those are your direct clients. So, okay, this goes for everybody. As in when I'm saying the offline methods, you need to start noting down and choosing one of the methods for your own self. Okay. So speaking, we covered two ICI and non-ICI events. Okay, I need you to choose either one of them. If speaking is your area, if speaking is your strength, and you really want to explore this way of building a thought leadership, that's speaking engagements. So you have ICI and you have non-ICI events where you can speak at. Okay. The next we come to book authorship. Now, again, one of the very powerful and sustainable way of creating a thought leadership. Why I'm saying sustainable is because once you've published a book, it's there. It can always be there. Of course, there might be a need of reprinting because of the changes of the laws or amendments or these kind of stuff, but it always be there. So that's a very sustainable way. You might be still reading some very good books from way past like 20, 30 years back. Somebody might have published, we still read this 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which was published like, I think, 40 years back, still valid. So some books, if it's a very impactful book, will be there for a long period of time. Powerful, of course, if you're aware, not aware, not even 1% of the whole world population is an author. So imagine you become that good branding of 1% club. You come in that 1% club where people have authored or written some books on some topic. Also, when you become an author, people really trust you a lot. People have that trust and credibility on you. This person has written a book, so of course knowledge hai. So it really helps you build a very, very good branding for yourself and of course a thought leadership. So when start writing a book, this is one of the, especially for people who are not very comfortable with speaking, writing book is one of the very, very powerful way of creating a brand or a thought leadership. Now I'll give you an easy way out of doing that is if you're not comfortable with a physical whole book, okay, you can start with an ebook, which is like very small, say 15, 20 pages of a very specific topic. You can do that. Write an ebook. Or come out with a handbook, come out with a workbook, any sort of book which really, again, is a physical form or even a digital form, but has your opinions in place, can really, really help you build a good thought leadership. How can you develop an ebook? I'll help you with that today. Okay, because that's one of the very easiest way today. help you start with one of the thought leadership way. So ebook is one of the very, very easy way, which is why I'm concentrating on that, and we'll see how can you do that on your own. The next is media appearances. So, when we talk about book, I'll just come back on book. Book is very powerful. Even I have written a book, if you can see, it's on branding. So, I why I'm saying this is, of course, I've been taking sessions on branding since 8, 9 years now, and I concentrate on branding for CAs. But as soon as I launched my book this year, I could see the way people responded to it, because it really helps build a lot of credibility in the eyes of your audience or your clients. So book is very powerful, and trust me, today with the help of AI, with the help of so many resources like ghostwriters to write the book for you, the ideas might be yours. You will think, "Arey, book likhna, it's so difficult. How to form the sentences, or how to put your opinions in place." Trust me, there are ghostwriters who will do that for you. You just give your thoughts, you just give the research, they'll write the book for you. You need not even do that. So keep this option in place. Media appearances. Media appearances is when you start, say for example, it can be physical or even virtual media appearances where you might see a lot of professionals, their opinions come on the newspaper if there's any topic, and you might see on the newspaper, this person said this about this change or policy. So that is media appearances. Or you come on news channels, say, during budgets, during taxes, you see a lot of professionals come on news channels where they talk about their opinions, their views, uh, how do they see the change of policy or budget. So that's media appearances. When you do that quite often is when you start building a thought leadership and a perception that this person is. Of course, when you appear on media, the viewership is very large. So people again have a very powerful perception that this person knows his subject very well. Okay, media appearances is something. If you are, it, media appearances, of course, is a bit tricky, because if you're called on your own, it's not very costly. But if you indulge in PR activities, it might be one of the most costliest way of building a thought leadership. Okay. Then we come to networking and community involvements. When you go and network and say for example, you develop a community. You develop a small, just like a study circle, you develop a community where you talk about a certain topic. You network with a certain group. That is when also again you start building a thought leadership. This is a bit tricky. This is very, very time consuming. So, and this is a very long term process. It cannot be some 2 or 3 times you've done this. No, it's a very long term process. So I won't go a lot in detail in how do you develop thought leadership, because we are running out of time. Industry associations and professional bodies. When you start becoming a part of specific industry associations, and this comes from the point of speaking engagement where we talked about the industry-based associations. So when you start becoming part of specific industry associations and you're very active there, you might not be even speaking there, but you're very active. You very actively have conversations in those associations. You organize events on a very specific points, and you share your opinions there, not even as a speaker, even as an audience, or even as a host. You become a thought leader, because again, when it's done repeatedly, people have this perception that people build that perception that you are specialized in a particular area. Okay. Then teaching and mentoring, of course, age old but very powerful method is when you teach a specific subject. You would, of course, become a thought leader that you have a lot of knowledge, that you're teaching a specific subject. So teaching is one of the very, I won't say easiest, because it again takes a lot of time to build that, but a very well-known way of creating a thought leadership. So teaching. Okay, so when you start teaching. Now, I hope you've noted down one area for yourself, one method in which you will start developing your thought leadership. I'm giving you 2 minutes. Please do note down one specific method or way in which you will create a thought leadership for yourself. Don't confuse yourself and don't choose too many areas. One or two is more than enough. You might be already doing something very well. Just keep that noted and we'll see how can you enhance that. And if you have not, choose one for yourself. Let's come to the online methods. Okay. And this, again, I'll speak a bit in detail. First is online courses or educational platforms. Now, coming from the teaching part of the offline to how do you develop that online? Say you are already a teacher offline, okay, and you might have seen this a lot, that lot of teachers who are teaching offline have shifted to online methods because the reach is very wide. You can reach millions of people at a go if you're teaching something. Okay. So online methods, when you develop a course, now this can be through a lot of different ways. Say you develop a recorded course, okay, and you upload that on platforms like Udemy or Coursera. You develop an online course and it's a recorded one, so anybody can buy and watch it anytime. Or you have your personal way of distributing this recorded course. So I know many CAs, distribute this through pen drive or a lot of different ways of this recorded. Or you have these online courses on YouTube also. So subscription method or even free, you might be teaching free. That's also okay. Or you might teach live through platforms like Zoom, or you have your own dashboard. So the point is teaching online to a larger crowd. That becomes your thought leadership method, online method. Okay. The next we come on blogging and content creation. One of the most used ways of building a thought leadership today, and that's use of social media or blogging. Okay. So I have divided this into two parts. That's blogging and social media. So first I'll talk about blogging. Now, blogging is simply when you publish articles or long format blogs on websites. It can be your own website. So you have a website where you regularly upload blogs, or you upload blogs on different platforms like WordPress, Blogger. There are free platforms where you can create your own blog for free and you can start uploading blogs there. So I very strongly recommend blogging. And one of the reasons is, first, it's very sustainable. Second, it gives a very enhanced, a very detailed information on a specific topic to your audience. It's not a like 1 or 2 paragraph thing like on social media and gets done with it. No, it's a very detailed thing. So people generally, when they're looking for in-depth information, they go to blogs rather than the social media posts. Third, it's when you blog regularly, your Google search becomes better because you are, uh, the way you start using keywords, your search results, when somebody's searching for a specific topic, the probability of your blog coming on the search is higher when you're consistent, of course. But more than the post, blogs come up because the Keywords are used more because it's a lengthy thing, right? Uh, and of course, blogs again, um, social media posts are short, blogs are in detail. So people, when they read in detail, they again build that trust on you that you know your subject in detail and you know your subject very well. So they trust you more through blogs. They might social media post can help you with visibility, but blogs will help you with the trust factor. Okay. Coming to the social media thing. So when you start creating content on social media platforms regularly, it can be through post, it can be written, verbal, video, audio, anyway. But you are creating social media content on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, any such. It becomes your thought leadership. And this is today one of the most used, sometimes abused, but most used way of creating thought leadership. Lot of people have built their brands, their personal brands, their area of expertise. They have marketed them in a certain way through these social media posts, where that post speaks about their area of practice, their expertise, their experiences, all of that. It's a very focused way. And today, very well used because, again, the reach is very high. Okay. So, social media posts, I will do that in detail a bit in 5 minutes. We'll discuss more about what kind of posts can you do and how can you build thought leadership on that. Okay. Then we come to webinar speakings and webinars. This is in continuation to the speaking thing that we did in the offline thing. Here, the only thing is when instead of the physical methods, when you are speaking at webinars or speaking on, say a live, you go on LinkedIn Live, you go on YouTube Live, Instagram Live, and you are speaking there. It is an online method. The main part is the speaking, where your face is seen and you are speaking. Okay. Uh, Next is, say, for example, you don't have your own blog, but you write blogs for other people. You write for different publications, you write for different CAs. People have blogs, you go there and request for a guest blog. So when you contribute content to other people, that is also a way of making a thought leadership. Of course, the effect and the impact may not be that great because ultimately it's somebody else's blog that you're writing on. But yes, slowly it can help you give a push and a confidence. So, say for example, for a starter, if you don't want to go as a speaker and you want to build a branding or a thought leadership through writing, and you don't want to currently develop your own blog, start with guest blog. Send your blogs to different platforms, ask them to publish that. So guest blogging is a good way to start the whole process if you want. Okay. And the last is, again, one of the most used, a very popular method is podcasting and video content. So mostly if you talk about, YouTube channels or podcast on Spotify, so these becomes again, a very powerful and today a very popular method of creating a thought leadership. Hmm? Now, again, what I want you to do is choose one of the ways in which you will create a thought leadership, one method that you will choose. Of course, social media, I think, even if you don't consciously choose, subconsciously, or it can be a secondary way of building a thought leadership because most of us are on social media. um, Apart from the social media thing, you can choose one more way of creating a thought leadership, choosing a method in which you will create a thought leadership for yourself. Can be online courses, blogging, social media posts, podcasting, sending your blogs to somebody else, or again, speaking at different platforms. Giving you 2 minutes. I apologize for disappearing a couple of times in between. The weather is really bad. Not that well. Okay, chalo, moving forward. So just keep giving everything in short and just see from this how can you choose one for yourself. So content, PR, either you write a book, publications, webinars or seminars, interviews, you go on interviews at different platforms, you start a podcast or appear at different podcasts, or you host some events or specific associations on a specific topic. Just select one. Okay. Now let's come to few of the tools that you can use to build this, help you build this thought leadership and how can you portray that. Okay. So quickly, I'll share another screen to just show you. So one of the methods that we had spoken about is ebook. One of the very easiest way to show your thought leadership is to write an ebook. What you need to do is, I'll give you 1 minute, just choose a topic for yourself. Say, like I said, be very specific and choose a very short topic. Say, for example, you only talk about IFRS 17, or you only talk about um, 5 main uh, input tax credit issues in GST. Most common challenges in maintaining GST compliance. Say these kind of topics which are very, very specific and talk about in a on a very minute topic. So that way your ebook can be short and it can be very useful for your audience, can be clients, fellow CAs, whoever you want to distribute. So I'll share one more screen and I'll show you how you use Canva to do that. Okay. So Canva is a free platform. Uh, you can use this on web browser or you can even download an application. It's free to use. Again, of course, they have a professional version also. It's a paid version. But very frankly, you can go ahead with the free version. Um, Almost you get a lot of options and lot of things that you can do even on the free version. So what you do is, so Canva, how it operates is, and this you can use even for your building thought leadership on social media platforms also, where you can develop templates, carousels, videos. You can edit videos and have good templates for yourself, even for social media, websites. All of this can be done on Canva. Okay. So what you do is on Canva, you go and type ebook. So what you can see is you get a lot of templates, ready templates that you can use to create this ebook. See, these are all ready templates. You just have to say, for example, business plan. Say you want to create an ebook for yourself on helping with a business plan. How can businesses create a pitch deck or something like that? So, see, you get a template. You just need to change these words. Okay. If you add a page, they'll give you layouts also. If you go on design, So they have multiple pages also, which you can design. Matlab you see, they have multiple designs. The whole ebook is created for you. You just need to put the content in place. So I'll just show you. Say, I've also written an ebook on how to become a thought leader. Okay. So table of content, introduction, simple. And you can create this for yourself. So writing an ebook and publishing it is one of the most, today I'll say, it's one of the easiest methods, affordable method, and impactful method. You need to, of course, distribute it correctly and market it correctly. Like I said, just developing a thought leadership will not help. You need to market and brand also. So Canva can be used in multiple ways in helping you create the social media, ebook, even writing a book or your podcast, videos. Everything can be done on Canva. That will help you create a good thought leadership. Zoom. Why I wrote the Zoom is for two reasons. Some people that I've seen are very conscious in front of cameras. Okay, but say I tell them to record some videos on camera, they become very conscious. So if you want to start with the practice, and this I've advised to a lot of people, go on Zoom, start a meeting and start speaking. Because nowadays, because of after COVID, we are so used to these Zoom meetings and the online meetings that you're still comfortable in front of this laptop camera rather than a phone camera. Start speaking on Zoom. Zoom can also be used for online podcasts. So where, you're not physically having somebody as a guest, but you invite them on a Zoom meeting, you record that meeting and upload that as a podcast. I do that. So it's very easy, convenient, and you can invite, audience or not even audience, sorry, the speakers or the guest from anywhere. So Zoom is one of the tools that you can take help of to create that thought leadership through podcasting or video records or YouTube channels. ChatGPT might sound controversial, but ChatGPT is not bad if you use it correctly. So anywhere you want to develop content, write posts, you can of course take help of ChatGPT. Don't rely on it too much in the sense because we all know the statistics, examples might not be correct. Don't ask them to do all the work for you because then the quality will be compromised. But of course, you can take help in polishing the writing, structuring the writing. All of that can be used through ChatGPT. So ChatGPT again simplifies a lot of things that might be time consuming for you. WordPress, like I said, WordPress, where you can upload free blogs, even if you don't have a website, you can, start a blog on platforms like WordPress, which is free. You need to just design it. Again, it's very simple. You just start uploading your blogs. Okay, so these are some of the tools that you can use to create a thought leadership, whatever the methods that we have discussed. Through these tools, you can develop this. Okay, so I've kept in mind to take all the free platforms. Now, some of the very important aspects of thought leadership that I wanted to cover is thought leadership is not only about your technical skill. Okay, as a CA, you might think, okay, thought leadership means I'll become an expert in direct taxes. I'll give some sessions and I'll become a thought leader. No. Thought leadership is the way a person looks at you. And that way is not only through your technical knowledge, that of course forms a very big part, but it also has other aspects as well. Say the way you dress, grooming, impacts the way person perceives you a lot. Say for example, you're very unwell, you have a lot of fever, okay, and you go to a doctor, you step into the clinic, and the doctor is sitting in this shabby shirt and very unbuttoned shabby shirt, daag waag laga hai, and the trousers are also very it's very shabby and dirty. Will you? Oh, sorry. Will you be able to trust that doctor? No, right? Because you need a certain way. You need to trust that doctor. That doctor needs to look in a certain way, should be neat because he's a doctor. That white coat, that neatness is a sense of grooming and creating a trust in all the patients that's coming to see. So grooming impacts the way people look at you and your thought leadership alone. So whenever there is an opportunity, dress well, dress impactful, look good. And I'm not saying ki dress good, matlab it's all about brands. No, you should dress the right way and dress appropriately wherever formals are required, informal is required. You should know that basic concepts. The way you present yourself, there should be no, stains. Your hair should be well combed. All these aspects about the way you look should be in place so that the person looking at you, listening to you, really trusts you also. Body language, the way you sit, the way you talk, your hand gestures. When you're sitting for a professional meeting, you're not just, lying down or being very casual about it. You have a certain posture. Again, all of this builds a trust amongst the people who are looking at you. Imagine a speaker who's coming and standing on a stage and, has a very casual attitude of the way the person's holding the mic or, just sitting with the legs spread on the chair on the stage. How does it look? Won't look nice and you will feel very awkward because, again, does not show a lot of competence, professionalism from that person. So you will not trust that person or whatever that person is saying a lot because of his body language. Third is communication, the way you communicate, your words, the way you speak your words, your tone, everything matters because, again, it builds a trust. Say somebody is coming and speaking on a stage, but the language is very bad, it's very abusive. He might have the best knowledge about direct tax, but he's very abusive. He, the language is very wrong. Will you trust that person? No, right? So communication, the words you use, the tone that you're using really again impacts how people are trusting you, the thought leadership that you're creating. Introduction. And the way you introduce yourself is the start point of creating that thought leadership. And this is where I go back to the introductions that we wanted to discuss. I didn't want to discuss it that time because I wanted to have a certain way in which you introduce yourself. And this is a structure that I, tell my clients also to do. And I also practice to a lot of extent. And this is a very structured, a very detailed way of telling about yourself, telling about what value you're adding, and what kind of clients do you have. So it helps in a very, it gives a lot of clarity to your audience as to what you do, whom you help, and how you help. Because a lot of times I've seen people introducing, "Hi, I'm CA ABC, and I'm into practice. सब कुछ करते हैं हम. We do everything." But then what? Where is the conversation going? How will the person know what to speak? And how will that person remember you? Because there's no point of differentiation. There's no point at which the person will remember you. So to create that memory, to create that point of differentiation and a thought leadership, you need to introduce yourself really well. And this is one structure that's very effective and it's really impactful. So you take a screenshot or just note this down. I'm giving you a couple of minutes. Just create a good introduction for yourself. Say, "Hi, I'm CA Parinita Adukia. I work with chartered accountants and financial professionals and help them with branding themselves effectively so that they grow they get better clients, they get lead generation, and have a very impactful digital presence. And this I do by following all the ethical code of conduct and understanding CA as a area of practice because I am also a C. So this becomes my point of differentiation. So in the same manner, you need to create your own introduction where you are in detail telling about what kind of work you are doing, how are you exactly helping your clients, and what is your point of differentiation. Remember, we had practiced this, seen this, sorry. The same way you need to create a structured introduction for yourself. Okay. I hope you're done with this. Let's move forward. Introduction and the last is networking. Like I said, unless and until you market, unless and until you go and tell 100 people that you are a thought leader on a specific topic, कोई मतलब नहीं है वो thought leadership का, because you might be a thought leader in your own mind and in your own practice in your own small world, but then you are not branding yourself as a thought leader. So unless and until you network with people, unless and until you tell people, say you came out with a ebook, okay, that's you are thought leader in, let's take that previous example, you are a thought leader in internal controls and you provide this to a pharmaceuticals company and you really have technology as an edge. That's a thought leadership, expert in this. You created an ebook around this, done. But now, how will people know about this? So you have to network and you have to tell people about this. Okay. And that's when your thought leadership really will be marketed. See, creating a thought leadership is not about one single step. You thought about some area of practice and done thought leadership is done. No. You are very good as a speaker. Thought leadership is done. No. It's a culmination of a lot of steps, like understanding what your thought leadership is, creating a method in which you will portray that thought leadership, and of course, all your action steps, like the way you introduce yourself, the way you stand, speak, the way you network with other people, all of these aspects combine help you become a thought leader in a specific area. Okay. I'll just speak a bit more on social media platforms and how can you use social media platforms to develop this thought leadership. Okay. So today you have multiple platforms. One category of platforms is all the social media, like the typical Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. All these are the social media platform where you create different kind of content. LinkedIn, mostly the content are text or carousel. So when you write stuff on a specific topic, you can put it on LinkedIn. Facebook, it's a bit of a dying platform, not generally for really marketing yourself as a thought leader. So I won't talk about it. Instagram, the um, the input or the method used on Instagram is videos and photographs. So again, not a lot of people might be comfortable with this, but this is again a very upcoming, very powerful way of creating a thought leadership. Um, but if you only if you're comfortable with those reels or videos, can you really uh, leverage Instagram. Twitter is when you're very good with 2, 3 lines and you, in short, you really explain everything. You're a master of words. So Twitter is for them. But again, the audience of Twitter is a bit different. Then we have WhatsApp and Telegram, of course. Again, why I call this thought leadership is uh, WhatsApp specifically is a very, very underutilized way of portraying your thought leadership. I'll cover this in detail a bit later. Then we have platforms like YouTube, Quora, podcast. These are knowledge based methods of creating your thought leadership. So YouTube, like we discussed, it can be a podcast, it can be a video channel, or it can be course that you are uploading. Anything in a video format that you upload on YouTube becomes a thought leadership method. Quora is a platform where you answer questions. So when you answer questions on a specific area, you become a thought leader in that area, that this person really gives a lot of solution on a specific topic. Podcast, like I've discussed, not going that in detail. Okay, so these are specific platforms. Now, again, one of the way of showing your thought leadership. See, we had done why it's important, how to choose a thought leadership for yourself, methods in which you can create a thought leadership, and then we come to market. How are you marketing your thought leadership? Because, like I said, only developing a thought leadership won't help. You need to create a method and market it. So, to market it, one of the this thing is, how you visually present that. Okay, give me one. Okay, sorry for the disturbance. So, visually representing and creating a memory of your thought leadership is also very important. So, one of the very underutilized way of creating this visual impact, and this I'll again, connect it to WhatsApp. If you see the rectangular box behind the display picture, it's called a cover photo. Okay. This is a very impactful visual way of telling that you're a thought leader in a specific topic. So you can see I'm giving my example because I've written a book. So I've told about that. So book is my thought leadership method, one of the thought leadership methods. So I've visually shown that. Now here comes the power of WhatsApp. I know through my experience, and I've asked these questions a lot of time in different sessions, not many people use WhatsApp business. Now, WhatsApp business is effective because it has an area of your profile where you can create your profile in detail, where you can talk about your expertise, you can talk about what services you're providing and everything. And just like this LinkedIn banner, the same thing you can do on your WhatsApp, where there's a visual banner just like this and there you can talk about your thought leadership. This is the way you market your thought leadership. And again, this is again where you can use Canva. If you go and type LinkedIn banner on Canva, you'll get this template. Okay, various different templates, and you can just need to put the content and the template, the designing is ready for you. People are very thinking, how do I design? I'm not a designer. Don't worry, you'll get ready-made templates if you don't want to design. So Canva again can be used to create these kind of visual representations of your thought leadership. Okay. Types of post on social media. When you are creating a thought leadership, which means, like we had discussed, people look forward for your opinions, for your thoughts on a specific topic. So you can go for types of posts like some posts which teach you something. Okay. So you can instruct on things that the audience can do, ideas that they can follow, books that they can read to really become an expert in a specific topic, what steps they can take. Say, for example, how to how to uh, maintain better books of accounts so that you have you can take input credit better, or um, how can you old regime versus new regime, what are the things to look into. So things like that. When you teach somebody something, like we have discussed, teaching is one of the very powerful methods. So even through your posts, when you teach something to your audience, you become a thought leader. Motivation, of course, when you're motivating something, but this is a generic way, method of creating a thought leadership. Opinion, when you pass opinions and give your opinions, strong opinions on a specific topic. Say, for example, there was a certain amendment of the tax law, and you give a very strong opinion, whether positive, negative, whatever the opinion is, you give that opinion on that amendment, people look for it. Okay. So this is again when you take help of social media posts, you're very regular with your social media posts, you can build a very good thought leadership from that. This point is something very controversial, but very, I won't say controversial, but something a bit time consuming, but very impactful is, even if you don't post a lot on social media, you're not comfortable with that, what you can do is you can start engaging with other people in the same industry, or somebody who might be sharing on the same line of your expertise, and you engage with their posts, you comment and like and share your opinion, your thoughts through commenting on their post. That is again one of the ways of creating a good thought leadership if you're not comfortable with posting every day. Okay. So how to make your thought leadership, your thought, authority really visible. Business WhatsApp, please switch to WhatsApp Business. You get a detailed profile. You can create a detailed profile about yourself. Speak about, give all your links to social media. Give all your links to download your ebooks if you have your YouTube channel, whatever the method of thought leadership that you've developed, you can market it over WhatsApp Business. Okay. LinkedIn feature. Now, this is a section on LinkedIn where you can give external links. Say, for example, I have a YouTube channel. I can have a link. I can have a section on LinkedIn feature where when the person clicks, will take to my YouTube channel. Or if I have some, some articles which were published that I had written in some newspaper, the link I can give there. Some seminar I'd taken, uska link, anything, any external links that I want to show to people to substantiate and to show that I am a thought leader in a specific topic, I can give that on LinkedIn feature, a very powerful way. Google My Business page again gives you that, you can attach photographs, you can attach the links to all your thought leadership material. Okay. Build a profile. Again, can be done on Canva. You just need to type firm profile and you will get multiple templates. Build a profile, a shareable profile, a clickable profile, which gives again a detail of what kind of thought leadership you have, how have you developed it, all of that. A profile which talks about you. Instagram profile links. So on Instagram, there's an option where you can give multiple links either to your website, your blog, ebook, whatever you have developed, you can put it there. Linktree application is a beautiful platform. What it helps you with is, say, for example, you have multiple things. You have a YouTube channel, you have multiple ebooks, you have a book on Amazon, you have different things. Where will you give so many links, right? So even on LinkedIn, if you go and you can't put so many links. So what you can do is all these links, you can create a profile on LinkedIn, Linktree app. You can upload all this together and then give a single link of Linktree to anybody who wants to see different, um, you know, different sites related to you. Can be your website, your where to download ebook, YouTube channels, social media channels, interviews, whatever it is, multiple links at a single place. Okay, it's a very good way to really showcase your thought leadership. And we have already spoken about Linktree Cup. Okay, so remember, thought leadership and branding is a package. It's not one step is taken care of everything and you do a certain thing and your thought leadership is built. Like we discussed, you need to really work upon the whole package. Okay, and that's when your thought leadership is built. So going back to this, I hope everybody has noted down first their point of differentiation. What is your niche and what is your point of differentiation? I hope everybody's noted this down. Then I hope you've created this introduction for yourself. The way you introduce, remember, creates a very big impact on how people perceive you and if they trust you to really be known as a thought leader. Then I hope you've chosen one way of offline and one way of online method to really showcase and develop your thought leadership. Then these are the tools. I hope you're clear with these tools, that free tools that you can use. Remember, it's a package. You need to have a good grooming, the way you look, the way you dress up, the way you talk, the way you sit, how you introduce yourself, how you network with people. All of this combined will help you become a thought leader. These are the different platforms. Please choose one for yourself. If social media posting is for you, choose something that teaches people or shows your opinions rather than just sharing simple information. That will not help you create a thought leadership. Don't just talk about this is the recent amendment that came up. No, don't give information, give opinions, share insights, teach them what to do of this amendment. Only then will you be known as a thought leader. Okay. Um, use WhatsApp business, take you good use of LinkedIn feature section, develop a Google My Business page for yourself, develop a good profile for yourself, which you can share with people. Use Instagram. If you're there on Instagram, use those profile links. In that profile link, you can give the Linktree app if you have multiple links to share with people. Okay, I hope all this is clear. And stopping the share. So if anybody has any questions, if there are any questions which have come up on the webcast.
Now, no questions.
Okay, sure.
So, Parinita, do you want to highlight some of the points, or should we wait for any questions or wind up the session? What do you suggest?
Um, we can take up any question and we can end the session. That's completely fine.
Okay, so let's wait for 2-3 minutes. If anyone has the question, kindly post it in your chat box or Q&A questions. Then we can take up, or else after 2 minutes we can wind up the session.
In the meantime, you can ask your questions also.
So,
How CS can position them as per our ICA Code of Ethics?
Okay. Good question and a valid question. So whatever that I have discussed, if you see, was all on knowledge based. So ICAI has a very simple rule that if you are sharing anything, even on social media or anywhere, which is knowledge based, which where if you so I had written a couple of pointers that you cannot talk about your clients, you cannot take their name, you cannot talk about your services, but you can just talk about knowledge aspect of a particular subject. When you're doing that, it is within the code of ethics. So, for example, say you are writing a post on a recent amendment on direct tax. Okay, few things that you cannot specifically that you should look into, that you cannot do is you cannot say that I have clients or I practice in indirect taxes where I do this. No, that's not allowed. You cannot take any client's name that my XYZ client was going through this. No, you cannot do that. You cannot at the end or start or anywhere write, come to me if you have any issues in direct taxes. So these are few small things that you can take care of when you are posting, where you are, say, for example, when you are going for any interview also, you same rules apply. Say you are appearing on a news channel and sharing your opinion on the budget. You cannot talk about your services, you cannot talk about any of your clients, you cannot talk come to me if you have any issues or you want to consult on this topic. All these are not allowed. Just concentrate on knowledge sharing, just concentrate on giving ideas and opinions. Don't talk about your services or firm or clients or ask to come to you for any clarification. You are good to go.
Parinita, how do you handle a brand crisis or a negative publicity of yours on social media?
Okay. See, the negative publicity, if it is on any opinion that you have shared, say, for example, you might have a certain opinion on a policy that has come out, and you have shared about it, and you have strongly shared about their opinion, which is negative, positive, and some people will not agree with it. And as a professional, trust me, it's fine because not everybody will agree to your opinion. Some people will have different opinions. My one thing that you need to take care of is maintain professionalism. Don't write derogatory remarks. Don't abuse the person. Anybody, even if the person is abusing you can delete the comment, you can block the person, but you yourself should, as a professional, as a CA, maintain a dignity and not indulge in a verbal abuse. If that person has a varied opinion, then you can of course counter it or just say that this is my opinion. You can counter it with some facts if you want. If it is not going anywhere, as a professional, leave it because you cannot make everybody happy. So just maintain that dignity online. and offline, of course.
Thank you. The next question, how do you maintain a consistency in your branding?
Okay, that's a very difficult question to answer because the consistency, like I said, thought leadership, when you're developing a thought leadership, it's not a one day thing. You need to be really, it has to be continuous. So, consistency is first thing, don't confuse yourself a lot and don't go into too many things. If you're starting with this journey, select only one thing. Say, for example, only social media post, or only speaking, or only writing one ebook. Select one thing that you feel you will be consistent with it. When you've written that ebook, then market it in a certain way. Follow small, take small steps, and then this consistency will really come into picture. Don't confuse yourself. मुझे ये भी करना है, वो भी करना है, and I want to do everything to build that thought leadership. Start small, be consistent, give yourself specific time, and you will definitely be able to do it.
What role does content writing play in your brand creation?
Okay. Thanks to AI, you might not be a fabulous writer. All that matters is your thoughts. If you are very crystal clear with your thoughts and you know your subject in depth, trust me, we have AI to write that for you. Or you can also hire professionals who can do that for you if you don't want to go the AI route. You can hire professionals who are content writers who can write for you. What really matters is your thought process. It has to be different. It has to really add value to your audience and not just give plain simple information, because that age has gone. Information is widely available online. What really matters or what people look into is, what do you think? So that has to come out perfectly. And that can be done, like I said, through either AI, you can write on your own, or hire a professional.
So thank you, Parinita, for all the questions. So it has been an honor to be part of this wonderful webcast on thought leadership as a chartered accountant, organized by Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, ICI. So on behalf of Professional Skill Enrichment Committee, ICI, we would like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our speaker, CA Parinita Adukya, her enlightening session. A wild round of applause and thank you to the organizer, Professional Skills Enrichment Committee, ICI, our today's speaker, and other stakeholders who has made the webcast a memorable one. Finally, we would like to thank all of you present here and helping us to make this webcast a huge and grand success. Thank you, one and all. Thank you for the session, Parinita.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you, Charmi.
Thank you.